Welcome back to my channel for this week's Human Design Transit Report, which is coming out on Thursday. And the new transit starts on Saturday. And so if you want to find out the transit that we're in right now, you can go and check out the transit report that I did before. And that'll tell you about what we're doing between now and Saturday. And if you want to know what's coming up next, go ahead and stay tuned and we'll dive in. So the first thing I want to say is, yay, Mercury is going direct tomorrow on September 15th, kind of later in the day. So you can look for your communications to start getting easier. It takes a little while for us to get out of that shadow of that Mercury retrograde, but definitely I've had some communication and communication technology go wonky during this Mercury retrograde, which can happen. But it also has been a really good time to kind of review and renovate and reclaim and be able to, kind of restore and create a new foundation for moving forward now that Mercury is going direct. So you know that you probably need to still, check and double check your communications for the next week or so, just to make sure, because like I said, we're still in that shadow, but it should be that communication and communication technology is going to be working better and be more clear and more easily understood as Mercury moves out of its retrograde and is rolling forward. So in the transit that starts on Saturday, we have got the emotional solar plexus lit up. So let's just pause for a second and talk about the emotional solar plexus a little bit, because it's kind of a not very well understood center. And it is really the center of creative energy. I think it's called the creative center in quantum human design. And the idea here is that the spleen center and the emotional solar plexus were the solar plexus chakra. Okay, and then they split into two according to the lore of human design towards the end of the 18th century. And what happened is that we got a distinction or differentiation between instinct and creative power. So this place of the emotional solar plexus is not just what we think about feelings. It is that in the sense that people who have this defined in their charts will have a variable wave, okay, that has to do with their energy and their emotional energy in particular. I do have a few videos about that. You can go and find out more about it if you want to. But its real power is in the ability for us to gather our emotional energy, uplift our emotional tone, focus on what we desire, what our intention is, and to stay focused on that, and to really be giving energy, our emotional energy, our high frequency energy, to that which we desire, right? That's how we can use that focus of the pineal gland, right? Which is in the head center, in my view. This is just my view. The head center in human design, or the ajna center in the chakra system. So it's in the center of the head. This is our ability to envision. And it's called the command center in the yoga traditions. So we've got this really dynamic relationship between the emotional solar plexus on the one hand, which is where we've got this creative power. We elevate the frequency that we have with that, right? And when we do, our heart opens, right? Because that emotional power is going to help us to generate and activate and radiate that love energy. That is what the G center has, or the heart chakra has. And then we can use that to really power our visions. So as we're diving into the emotional solar plexus during this transit, it's good to just kind of have a sense of the significance of emotional power, in addition to whatever you might think of it as kind of like our emotions that come and go, right? The feelings that come and go, because it's actually a lot more than that. So the Earth is lighting up the gate 36, which is in the sensing circuit, and it is pointing up towards the throat over here from the emotional solar plexus. It's pointing up. In traditional human design, it's known as crisis, which is always a little like, not so great, right? Or exploration in quantum human design. So let's unpack this a little bit. So like I said, it's in the sensing circuit, which means that it's right-brained energy. It's creative, it's experiential, it is embodied, there's a quality of a felt sense that we get with the sensing circuit. So it's more abstract. It's not logical. It's not rational. It's not reasonable. It's not any of those things. To me, the 36 is more about adventure. So exploration, adventure, diving into things, trying things out, having a love for experience, really wanting to engage with life, right? Wanting to dive in and explore and really kind of just feel like this lust for life, right? That's in its higher expression. Its more awakened expression is like that. It can be a little competitive in what I consider its shadow state. So for me, shadow is where we're trying to use the energy of the particular aspect of the chart in order to gain control over people or a situation, right? Which is basically how a lot of us have been trained to be, right? And so in this case, that might show up as, I'm going to go for experiences that are even more intense than yours. It's like, oh, okay, so, you climbed that peak on that mountain. I'm going to climb this peak on this mountain, right? I'm going to go into more intense experiences, right? Whatever that might be. Because it's kind of trying to prove that you have even more of that gusto than for other people. So, but in its disempowered expression, it could be like, you know what, I just kind of done everything already. I don't really, there's anything else out there that's drawing my attention. I just don't really see that there's anything else for me to experience in life, right? It can be a little bit like that. It can be a little bit jaded. Or it could also be afraid of experience. I had some bad experiences when I was younger, and I wanted to have a really calm, kind of boring life. Thank you very much, because I don't like that intensity. So during this time, you want to just check it out for yourself and be like, how am I feeling about exploring, about adventuring, about experiencing? And you can positively use it as a time for you to like get outside and take a trip, or go be at the ocean, or be in the mountains, or go to a river, right? Like go out and have an exploration in the living world and allow it, the sensations and the smells and what you have to look at and gaze upon, and how you feel. Your feeling state really is uplifted when you are in the presence of the living world, and you're really allowing it to influence in a positive way your own energy field. And because the earth is lighting it up, you want to ground yourself in the richness of what's available, the richness of sensation, the richness of the expanse of the all that is. Because that right-brained energy really is connected to that great expanse in a way that the left brain is much more focal. Okay, so the right brain is like, let's take it all in, right? So you'll have the opportunity to do that, but you want to also be able to ground yourself in that, which feels a little oxymoronic, right? Expand into the great universe, but be grounded on the earth at the same time. But that's going to be the invitation for you. Then the sun is going to be lighting up the gate 6, which is also in the emotional solar plexus, but it's in the defense circuit, which is a subcircuit of the tribal circuit. And so this is an energy that is it's half of the channel of love and war, or the channel of mating, has different names. Or the channel of sustainability, which is what it's been renamed in quantum human design. And it is an energy for providing for the tribe, providing for children, providing for elders, making sure that people have what they need. Okay, so it does have to do with provision, but it also has to do with this kind of energy that we can get that can be driven by a sexual energy, because its mate is the 59. Which is the gate of sexuality or sustainability. And so it can have a quality of that. But the six, you really have to work to have it be in its elevated state, because in traditional human design, it's called friction. Right? Which is why it's part of the channel of love and war, right? The 59 is sexuality. It's about love. The 6 is like friction. It's all about war. Right? So you want to avoid getting into that situation. It's been renamed impact just to acknowledge the intensity of this energy. So it is emotional energy, like we're just saying, is part of the emotional solar plexus. So it is emotional energy and this is true actually for this and the 36, is they need time. You want to give them time in order to make good decisions. So those of you who are emotionally defined, I hope you already know that about yourself. You really need to give yourself time in order to make the best decisions for you. And it's also true for all of the gates that are on the emotional solar plexus as well. So that's one thing that can help you with this potential friction that can come from the 6, is if a situation arises or you just start to feel a certain way, if you can actually just pause a little bit, right? Give yourself some time, feel into what's going on, and then see if you can elevate the quality of that energy so it's not friction, okay? And you can transmute it into impact, but make it a positive impact, right? A positive impact, not something where you're going to get into conflict with your partner, your family, your close beloveds, your close community, right? Because it's tribal energy. Something where you don't get into conflict like that, right? You don't get into friction, but you're recognizing that you have this quality that can be very impactful. Now, one thing to realize is during these transits is that everybody is being influenced by these different energies that are happening, right? So not only are you going to be influenced by the sun in gate 6, but so is everybody else. So one of the things to be aware of is if you can tune in and be like, oh, that person is really kind of in the friction of gate 6. And how are you going to respond to that? Right? Hold space for it, walk away from it. Help that person calm down, help them process what's going on, whatever it is that's going to turn out to be right for you. But it's to be be forewarned, right? To be forewarned, and to just see if you can have a lot of compassion and love for people, even if they fall into what you might consider not the highest state of expressing the gate 6. So if we can ground ourselves in an appreciation for embodiment, expression, experience, embodiment, the kind of the joy in finding out about things, right? If we can ground ourselves in that, then we can have more command over the quality of the energy with which we express the 6. And so that we cannot be falling into the trap of conflict and friction, but we can instead be finding the ways that we can collaborate with each other, we can well communicate with each other, we can support each other, and so on. Tomorrow I'm doing a special event inside of the Becoming Sovereign Quantum Retreat Center and Global Community, and you'll also be able to watch the replay there if you choose. And this is called Discover Feminine Sovereignty. My book on feminine sovereignty is coming out on November 2nd, and I am doing an introductory session just to help you know what it's about. I'll give you the overview of the book. I'll let you know how you can partner with me if you choose to, if you want to be an early adopter, if you want to kind of get in on the ground floor and find out what this book is about, all the awesome stuff we're going to do with it. If you want to be part of a gathering where we're going to be going over some of the book in the early, right, after the book comes out, and we're going to have a series of events. Those are all things that are going to be available to you. And right now, I am looking for advanced readers, and so if you're interested in getting the manuscript early and being one of the people who writes a review, who helps spread the word about it, or if you want to share it with your communities, that event is going to be a great thing for you to participate in. Or if you're watching this after that event happens, the replay will be up in the Becoming Sovereign Quantum Retreat Center and Global Community, which I hope that you'll come and join us in if you haven't been there already. All right. And also next week, I'm doing a deconditioning by design on Monday evening. That's also happening there. So I hope that you will come and join us. All right. Many blessings. Much love. Bye for now.